My name is Courtney Godfrey, and on September 15th, 2017, my life changed forever. I've come out on the other side of this. I've come out of the darkness. And while I wish that I never had to go through this, I can honestly say it's made me a better person, a more loving person, a kinder person.
That is her voice. You will meet her momentarily. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday here on WCCO Radio with Real Talk with Roshini. I'm Roshini, and I'm just honored to have my next guest in studio with us. She's an inspiration. I have followed her story from afar, but met her in December and heard her speak, and also just fell in love with her in my own way. And I said, I'd love for you to come on my show. And here she is in the new year, living a really wonderful life. Courtney Godfrey, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for your kind words.
All right, for people who don't know, September 15th, 2017, you had a tragic accident on a boat.
Yeah. My husband and I, like most Minnesotans, were on our boat every weekend in the summer, and freak accident. The boat made a quick turn, and I was dumped over, and the propeller hit my foot, sliced right through my foot, and was unsalvageable. So the news was delivered pretty quickly at the hospital that I would be an amputee. And that's the way I've lived for 2.5 years with the below-the-knee amputation on my left leg.
So the original, when they're telling you that, can you remember what was going through your mind? And, I mean, did you just immediately say, okay, yes, do it? Or, I mean, what's happening at that moment?
It's so fascinating because when you go through trauma, I think your fight or flight really kicks in. And so your brain is saying, oh, they can fix this. You know, I mean, I saw my foot when I came out of the water.
Check out the x-rays one more time kind of thing.
Yeah, right. No, I saw my foot when I came out of the water. And any reasonable human being would know there's no saving that. But your brain does funny things. I know someone who lost both feet in a boating accident and saw his feet floating in the water. Sorry to be graphic, but he said even he in the helicopter on the way to the hospital said he thought that they could save them because your brain, I think it's just this adrenaline.
It doesn't want to change.
No, and I think it's a protection mechanism, right?
Absolutely.
Kind of to save you. But, when they delivered the news, it was obviously heartbreaking, but by the next day, it was like, okay, the foot's not coming back, right? We can't change this. So I can either go to a really dark place and be angry about it, or I can grab onto positivity and charge forward. And of course, I've had down moments. Everyone would, but holding on to that positivity and just charging forward has really filled my life. And I can say now that as an amputee, the opportunities and the things that I get to do because of what happened to me have changed me. I mean, you heard it in that intro there, I'm a better person. I'm a more loving person. I'm the person that I always wanted to be.
Yeah, which is amazing to hear you say that. I mean, such a positive outlook. I'm talking with Courtney Godfrey. She's a reporter at Fox 9 and is an amputee. She's been living with this new normal for more than 2 years. And I know that one of your colleagues did a story about you, won an Emmy. I mean, all these things that have come from it. But one of the things I wanted to talk about with you is how you have now gone on to be an advocate for other amputees with state and federal lawmakers and supporting new amputees. What has that been like?
It's interesting. I do a lot of hospital visits. The nurses who took care of me at HCMC, sometimes they even reach out and say, hey, we've got someone, a motorcycle accident or a car accident, or, we've got somebody who's lost their limb and can you come down? And I always, I try and get there within 24 hours. And it not only, of course, helps that person, but it heals something in me. I would be lying if I said, I do this just out of the goodness of my heart. I visit people at the hospital and I mentor new amputees out of the goodness of my heart. No, it heals something in me, right? It's part of my healing process too. And I love it. I love it. I love walking into that hospital room when you are so sad and confused and showing you that you will walk again. And, you will wear the shoes that you wanted to wear again, and you will do the activities that you loved before. You will. If you want to, you will.
And that is a big reason why I wanted you to come on, because there are people out there, it's the beginning of the year, maybe they ended the year in a tragedy, maybe they're looking at a stack of resumes they have to send out for a new job. What is your advice? Because certainly you have lived through something we'd never wish on anybody. What is your advice for just new outlook?
Oh, my goodness. It's a season, not a sentence. That's what someone shared with me right after my accident. It's a season, not a sentence. Maybe you're going through a divorce, or you've lost a loved one, or maybe you're just having a really bad day. Whatever your low is, it's a season, not a sentence. And I think that if you can really convince yourself of that and believe it, you can wake up the next morning and say, okay, we got this. We can do this. Let's shift. Let's charge forward. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about September 30th, 2019.
Oh, my favorite day ever. My husband and I welcomed our first child, Callan, into the world on September 30th. So he's 3 months old. And I know I shared this with you, Roshini, but, September obviously is the month that our lives were turned upside down. We went from being happy, two-legged, newlyweds.
It's amazing you can laugh at this right now.
Right. All you two-legged people out there. September's the month that our lives change forever. And I truly believe that there is a reason that Callan came in the month of September. Everyone who has had a child, their first child, knows no first child comes early or on their due date. Callan came on his due date because I truly believe that God wanted to replace our memories for September. September now is a happy month for us because we get to celebrate our son being born and rebirth and new life instead of that awful day when everything was changed forever.
And how is he doing?
Oh, my goodness. Well, he doesn't sleep. Oh, gosh. You had a sleep expert on a little bit, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I think last week. Last week it was New Year, New You.
Is she for hire?
Yeah, she does. She will consult. Yes, Sarah Mo.
He is cute as can be, and I think that's why they make them that way, because he's up every 2 hours or less, and then you wake up in the morning after just a horrendous night, and he looks at you with that big toothless grin, and you're just like, all is forgiven.
Yes.
I don't even care. I'm so tired right now, and I don't even care.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing how much a child can really make you do a lot of self-reflection and really see your true self, right? I am raw and real right now because I have been stripped down and just so vulnerable because this kid has taken everything out of me.
Yeah.
And it's a test. It's a huge test. But I love who I am with him, and I love our little family.
Well, we congratulate you for this cute little guy and that he was able to create a new normal for the month of September. Yeah. One listener, though, a very real text coming in, okay, how do I convince myself it's just a season? So maybe they're going through a tough time right now.
How do you convince yourself it's just a season?
You went into the depths and you had to pull yourself out of that. Your husband was there. I know you had a lot of loving coworkers and family, but you individually needed to get yourself out of that.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of faith, right? There's so much that's out of your hands. It takes a lot of faith. And I've always said for me, it was the 3 Fs: faith, family, and friends, and in that order. And that's how I got out of it. I know it's so, I stand up and I talk, I do these talks and I talk to people about, how to be positive, how to pull yourself out of it. And it's like, okay, lady, yeah, you lost your leg and you're positive. Good for you. I can just hear these people in the audience
kind of being real and needing to vent in that way.
Yeah. And, there's so many things in life. You're going to come up against barriers in your life. And, you can either dig under that barrier, you can, go around that barrier, you can climb over that barrier. Every single one of those ways is going to be a lot longer, a lot harder, a lot more stressful than, if that barrier wasn't there in the first place and you could just walk right through. But it's a lot better than just standing on the other side of that barrier saying, geez, I wonder what's on the other side.
And sometimes just getting through 1 hour, like just saying, hey, I'm going to make this next hour a positive hour, whatever that means for you. If it's having your chai tea latte or meeting mom for lunch or whatever it is, to just have a really good hour.
Yeah, it's snowboarding was something that I said in the hospital. I said, will I ever snowboard again? I love to snowboard, and I don't think I'll ever snowboard again. And if you go on my social media, you'll see I am crushing it down the hill. And many of my friends say, gosh, you're better than me, and I've got 2 legs. It hurts. It hurts really bad. My socket that my leg's attached on with, it digs into places, and it's not comfortable. And I struggle getting on and off the chairlift, which used to be so simple for me. And nobody can see that I've got a prosthetic leg. So they're, someone actually called me out. What are you doing? Move faster at a chairlift in California recently. But I do it. I'm out there and I'm doing it. And I could give up. I could sit in the lodge and hang out with my baby instead. But I don't.
It's a promise you made to yourself.
It's a promise I made to myself. Yeah.
I'm talking with Courtney Godfrey. She is an amputee. She's a new mom. She's a reporter at Channel 9, going back to work shortly. And if you have any final thoughts or questions for her, give us a ring, 651-989-9226, or text us. I love this because more texts are coming in. One person saying, life is worth living.
Life is definitely worth living. And unfortunately, Roshini, there are a lot of amputees out there who, they lose their limbs. And guess what? I know people who have lost all 4, in the work that I do, in the community that I'm now in. And there are people who they go through this and they say, screw it, I give up, and they go into this dark place and they never come out. It's really easy to do. It's really easy to go to that dark place and never come out. But
it is worth it, and there are people out there, and you've got to look for those people. Starting with faith is a great place to start. Your family, your friends, maybe it's one special coworker. All you need is that one person who can just kind of be that Courtney for you, to remind you. It's just take 1 hour at a time,
if you have one person you can go to. I am so open in the fact that I went and saw a trauma psychologist because I was laying my head down at night and I was at peace with the fact that I'd lost my leg, but I was suffering from anxiety about what could have happened, right? The fact that the sheriff's deputies could have pulled my body out of the lake days later and, my husband never would have had a family with me. We never would have known what that future looks like. My family would be in mourning, but I wasn't pulled out of that lake. It was my foot, not my head. And I had really bad anxiety about this. When I closed my eyes at night, I would find myself back in that lake. And so I went and I talked to a trauma psychologist and, I talked to my husband. So,
I love that you reached out, and it's admitting that it is okay. You don't have all the answers. There are others out there who want you to heal, but they also have expertise that can help you heal.
Yeah, 100%. I don't have all the answers. This listener's asking, how do you tell yourself it's a season, not a sentence? You know what? I don't know the direct answer to that.
But it's continuing to listen to some of the positive voices. I know every week on this show, I always try to bring positive voices to help remind you. We are winding down on our time, but I want to get to Kathy in Minneapolis who called in so she can share her thoughts. Kathy, how are you?
Good. Just want to know to Courtney that I have followed your story as well. Didn't even know you had a child. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That I did see the snowboard video, and I teach adaptive skiing, and we always are on our lifties to protect our students, whether they're adaptive or not. Not snowboarding, but skiing. So good for you. Keep the faith and journey on, joyful.
I love that. Journey on. Journey on.
Hey, thank you. I love that. And I also volunteer. I have done the Shriners Camp a couple times, and we have a great time. And yeah, it's really important that the lifties help everybody on and off the lifts because it's not easy,
Oh, it's not easy even for the two-legged people. Like I am not a skier, so I say great for you. You've got some fans. We've got a text coming in from Mary Ann Nellies, who says, "I've prayed for Courtney ever since I found out about the accident.
Aw.
I will continue to do so."
Well, and like I've always said, I take all the prayers. I'll take all the prayers. So thank you.
Another listener, my first child's birthday, also September 30th.
Aw.
You are strong and blessed. Thank you.
Aw.
Very nice. See, this is the thing. This kind of positive energy, and for the person who is asking about the season, I hope they got some more positive energy toward them.
Well, and this community is just so incredible. You know, from the day that it became public what happened to me, this community has embraced me, wrapped their arms around me, and I'm just so lucky to call Minneapolis home for that reason.
Well, Courtney Godfrey, we are so lucky you came in studio today. You're looking great. And good luck when you get back to work over there at Fox 9, my old stomping grounds when I was a TV reporter. And will you come back?
I will come back 100%. Let's talk, and next time let's talk about, you know, working in the media.
Yes,
as somebody with a disability. I mean, that's a whole that's a whole half hour.
We will, and next time you can be part of one of our media roundtables, which is, by the way, our 2:00 hour. Liz Collin is in the house, Rena Sargentopoulos and Steve Silton, and then Neil Justin from the Strip joins us from L.A. Thank you so much. Just a joy seeing you. Happy New Year. And we have to take a quick break, and then we'll be back.